All right, final Friday of June. This is it. We turn the calendar.
Yeah, this is definitely turning the calendar. This is turning the calendar. It's you look around the corner, you see it. You see it coming.
Is this for teachers? Is this?
Yeah, you just start taking notice. You just start keeping more track of days. Like I said, we've officially passed the point in the summer where you're in like the endless summer type of phase. Now some evil corporation will start throwing a back to school commercial on here very quickly.
It's good.
So that's when you start being like, all right, man, whatever.
This is the final Friday, final weekday of June when we all reconvene on Monday. It'll be July the 1st. It always feels like when you get into July, all of a sudden now you kind of look over the horizon, you see football. You start thinking, I need some new tailgating chairs this year.
I saw it perfectly described as all things are described on TikTok yesterday.
Oh, yes.
As the summer, June is Friday night.
Okay.
Endless possibilities ahead of you.
All right.
A lot of things that can happen. July is Saturday.
Okay.
Still good. But Sunday's coming.
Okay.
August is Sunday.
Yeah.
It's a perfect description that I saw. I wish I could credit X15892 on TikTok, but whoever that was, you gave me
Nailed
a revelation yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you start to dread it. It's like, oh man, as it's going on, we're getting to the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's you talk about the dreaded back to school commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Jen and I are worried about the dreaded Christmas commercials in July.
There you go.
We walked into Cracker Barrel the other day, and it's like, I don't need to walk in and see skeletons and all orange and black. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's time. Yeah, the final Friday. We'll get you up. We'll get you going. A lot to get into this morning. A emotional LeBron James yesterday as the family comes together. 20 whatever years of LeBron playing Preston Thorne comes to fruition, and the Lakers, probably because LeBron threatened them, draft Bronny James.
Yeah, they actually did it. They did it way deep into the second round, but they did it. So as it seems, it worked perfectly yesterday. Like I said, if you were sitting around at an establishment without the sound on, just watching teams pick, it was perfect. Got you to watch the whole thing. It worked out well. But before we get started, I want to give a thank you, a sincere thank you to Paul Maneri, Bronny James, and everybody who has made this one of the best Junes in sports talk radio, because from what I understand, June is usually a very difficult month to find anything to have to talk about. Also, shout out to the Panthers, Florida Panthers. It's been some cool things happening, but thank you, Bronny and Laker organization. Thank you, Ray Tanner and Paul Maneri, because we've had consistent things to have discussions about during this time. So I really want to. Oh yeah, how could I forget Jim Schlossnagel?
Schlossnagel.
Yeah, can't forget him. Thank y'all so much.
He sent June out on a bang.
Thank you, Jim. It's been great. Appreciate y'all.
He knew how to send June out on a bang. Yeah, with the 55th pick in the second round yesterday, the Lakers select Bronny James, who wrote Beyond Blessed. The James family receiving the news while gathered together at an intimate dinner party in New York. It's really pulling for New York or Boston to draft him yesterday. And as the tweet that I retweeted, then send a ransom note to Los Angeles. We have your son. It'll take Austin Reeves to get him back. I was really pulling for that to happen yesterday, but it does not. And now the Lakers have LeBron's son, which will lead him to doing something. How long has he been talking about this?
It's always been dangled out there. He's always talked about it as a dream, and it's something that's really wild because you started seeing pictures yesterday of LeBron holding Bronny as a very small child as he was in the NBA, and it's pretty wild to think that that LeBron had the staying power to have this happen. It's pretty incredible for sure.
It'll be interesting. It wasn't as interesting as I had hoped it would be. I was pulling for another team to draft him. I'm not sure anybody would have actually drafted him if his name. Matter of fact, if his name was not Bronny James, I'm fairly certain he would be back at Southern Cal for year two, if not in the transfer portal, going home to Ohio State or somewhere else.
So yeah, I mean that's a distinct possibility. Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Oh, and J.J. Redick, you now have to find a way to play both of them together in a game that's not a blowout.
Oh, he'll find a way.
I just wonder how J.J. Redick, took that in yesterday.
He took it in very well because that's how he got the job.
He's the puppet.
He went to the interview and said, "Yes, I will. Yes. What do you want me to do, Rob Pelinka? Genie Bus? Yes.
He's the puppet
Sounds
master.
good. You ever seen a pin down with a father and son coming off a screen? I can run it. Let me show you how to do it.
Yeah, I'm a 3-point shooter myself. I know how to set things up. All right.
Let me show you how to do it.
Yeah, that was something. So that was part of yesterday, and then you've got some college football. EA Sports.
This has been a brand new talking season. I forgot to give a thanks to them. They've created a whole new talking season that we haven't had in 11 years. A brand new talking season where we don't have to think about things. We don't have to create our own list. They're just giving us lists. And now we can just talk about those lists. So, again, shout out to the good folks at EA Sports for making more talking season points.
Yeah. We'll get into that a little bit this morning and get into start to look ahead as we turn to calendars. We get ready for July. It'll be this time in 3 weeks, this day in 3 weeks, that we will be recapping SEC Media Days. Preston will have heard from all the coaches. As a matter of fact, I noticed, I missed it, but I noticed on Wednesday I got the email for the Birdies with Beamer golf tournament letting me know what day he will speak with the local media and do his press conference, and we'll talk with all the assistant head coaches as well. And that'll be really the starting point for the fall camp that leads into August 31st, and we have our countdowns going on. Also at a music review today. Look forward to that. Where do we stand with the countdowns?
64 days until Old Dominion, 65 days until the Southern 500, 18 days until July 16th. I wonder if they're going to leak out a piece of information all the way up until July 16th.
The build-up is good. They know what they're doing.
They're doing a very good job.
So 11 years of marketing that's
This is a phenomenal rollout for the game. 21 days until July 19th. And today's album is coming off the heels of Steely Dan yesterday, is De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising.
Okay, so we've got that. We've got that going for us this morning. So a lot to get to, a lot we're going to get into. Again, yesterday, the NBA draft. Now we go into a sports weekend that's quiet.
Yeah.
It's Major League Baseball, and I don't well, I mean, there's not even Premier League soccer. You do have the UEFA Euro Cup. But, yeah. This is the back-to-back weekends. Next weekend, you at least have is it Thursday or is it next weekend? I actually don't know the actual date of the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Is it next Thursday or is it next Saturday? Or is it this?
Usually on the 4th.
It's on the 4th.
Is it on the 4th? Directly on the 4th?
Yeah, it's on the 4th.
You don't even have that next weekend. So next weekend, is the quiet, and then we start to ramp back up.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. I mean, is the contest even happening anymore? Do we even know? Is it wide open? Have people been... The betting odds have changed now that Joey Chestnut's not there. It's a lot of things that are happening.
Great question.
Is it now more like the NBA draft versus the WNBA, where the NBA draft, we don't know the players, but with the WNBA, we did. So now we don't know the players in the eating contest?
It could be a possibility.
True. Yeah, what you're saying is very true.
A lot of brand new people walking up there, unless you're deep in Major League Eating.
If you are deep into the Major League Eating contest, please text in 803-404-6100. Give us the information. Let us know so we can start prepping appropriately for next Thursday. 803-404-6100. How you can weigh in if you want to do so this morning. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Gamecock Larry wants to weigh in. How you doing this morning, Larry? Larry? Hey, buddy, you there?
Hello.
Okay, there we go.
Got me?
Yeah, you're good. Go.
Gamecock. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, yeah, Bill, I got a challenger for you on your days off.
Good.
Boy, old Root Hog came by yesterday morning with his beautiful wife and daughter, I guess about 7:30, coming from Folly Beach. I think he spent more time in Folly Beach this year than he did at work. Boy, I'll tell you, I wish it was like that in my young days. I could take off when I want to and and all that. But another thing, I don't. Well, Lord, okay. I want everybody to have a good weekend. It's gonna be a dead weekend for old Gamecock. I'm just gonna sit here and relax in my recliner, waiting for Bill, Jen, and Preston Monday morning. But I want to let all you all know, old Gamecock Larry loves all y'all. Have a good weekend. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to be in Omaha in 2025. Oh, yeah, by Clemson. Look out, Clemson. Aggies is going after the coach in Kentucky. If they don't get him, then they're going to try the coach in Tennessee. If they don't get him, which is very doubtful because they can get either one of them they want, but they roll that money out there. And then they're coming after Buckets at Clemson, third on the list to be the Aggies coach. But the Tigers, you are still stuck with the old coach and Leggett. The man don't know what his job is. I love all y'all. I know I talk crazy. These old 90-year-old boys got a long time on it. Go Gamecocks. Have a good weekend. Love all y'all.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate the phone call. Yeah, we'll see if we can get an update on that Schlossnagel Texas A&M board, see what coaches out there are prepping their responses to any questions that might come out. A couple of y'all helping us a little bit. The Tour de France starts tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Randall and Walterboro. Though,
Greg LeMond still out there?
Huh?
I was just throwing out a random Tour de France name, Greg LeMond.
Oh, okay. All right. And Texter weighs in, talking about the eating championship. Fried Chitlin champion right here, 3 years running. Even have the Chitlin Championship trophy. Had to slow down to say that properly, not lose my job.
Hey, Wimbledon is going on.
I thought about that too. Yeah, it feels like it's late this year. I feel like I've always watched.
I kind of feel that way too.
I could be wrong on this. I don't know if something's going on. It feels late because I thought it always wrapped right on the 4th of July. Right around the 4th of July.
It's going June 24th through July 14th.
Yeah, it feels late, but I could be wrong on that. So, all right, we'll get to all that. We got a lot to get to. It's talking season. Preston wants to talk a little college football. We'll rank some opponents.
I don't know if I actually want to talk college football. I want to talk rankings of college football from the video game.
I gotcha.
Based on our schedule. I don't know if I actually want to talk football.
Okay, I'm with you.
Be clear about that.
All righty, we'll get to that. Well, Preston will lead us down a path when we come back. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It's the early game. Bill Gunner here for Jacob Crowder and First Palmetto Bank. Jacob is the mortgage guru in this market, and as we roll into the back half of 2024, if you're looking to buy or refinance, maybe even build, Jacob can get you taken care of. I know for a fact just a few years ago he helped me, and I personally recommend Jacob Crowder and First Palmetto Bank. They are owned and operated right here in the Midlands. Jacob has local decision makers, which means quick and precise underwriting. So if you're looking to make a move, it's time to give the mortgage guru a call today, 803-719-1005, or you can email him the letter J, Crowder at firstpalmetto.com. With interest rates stabilizing a little, as well as the local housing market, First Palmetto Bank has options for home buyers to keep payments down. And if you're considering building a home, First Palmetto Bank has a no-nonsense construction loan. So call them today, 803-719-1005.
I-26 eastbound, just after exit 129, there's a report of an accident there, so do be careful this morning in that area. And reports of a little bit of patchy dense fog there on I-77 northbound and southbound around exit 2. So just to make you aware of that. And as far as your forecast goes, looking for high today of 93, afternoon or evening thunderstorms. Then the heat goes back up because we're looking at a high of 95 tomorrow with a heat index of potentially 108. And Sunday, heat index could be as high as 112. So let's enjoy it right now. It's 73 on 107.5 The Game.
Yeah. Preston just asking off air. What was that tipster reading?
I heard 109, but then I thought maybe I blacked out at 109. But then did you say 112?
That is what WIS is saying, is that on Sunday it could be about 96, but I guess with the heat index it could be 112.
Oh, it's 112. That's what it is.
Like the rapping group. You think 112 will be on your countdown?
I do not.
Okay.
R&B group 112 will not be. Don't Cupid is a seminal classic. Don't think 112 will be in a good kind of couple songs actually, but won't be on there. But yeah, we just need to get rid of the actual temperature and just tell me the heat index.
Yeah, right. Because that really is.
I don't need to know the temperature. I need to know what I feel like because that's what I registered. And actually, 112 might as well be 350 in the oven.
That's true.
Yeah,
I'm good with it though, and I'll contend. And still, as I get older, I'll take a heat index of 112 over 40 degrees.
Over 40?
Over
40?
Woo.
Do not. This is becoming a new, almost even surprising to me that disdain for the cold is so bad that, yes, I will gladly take 112 or 96 with a heat index of 112 over 40 degrees. You've heard us complain. You've heard me complain for many a year now.
Oh, yeah.
On the way it is here in this studio at times, especially during the winter. And I know some people who have hopped on our live stream. Shout out to our live stream. You can go and watch us each and every morning at the Game TV Radio, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. You can go and check that out on YouTube, powered by Integrated Media. If you've seen me, if you've ever looked in, I look like an Eskimo. It looks like you would think sometimes we're doing the show from Alaska, and the way I'm bundled up. Preston sometimes gets really bundled up. We're in here again.
Yeah.
You would be confused where we're doing the show from. So, yes, 97 with a heat index of 112, I'll take it.
Oof.
Gladly.
I'm trying to look at some other weather sources because I'm not seeing the same. So, but
Okay.
we usually refer to WIS.
I'm
So
good.
right now I'll run with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything, that's fine. 112 is a lot.
Not a problem. 803-404-6100. So, obviously, everybody getting very excited, all excited. College football. What's our countdown? Where are we at? I'll have to look just over the weekend.
64 days until Old Dominion, which the 112 temperature leads to my another one that you can book. Will be a temperature heat delay in that game. Book it.
Okay.
Also might be one in next week against LSU.
All right.
Book it.
Book it. All right. But that leads us to college football 25, and they've got some more rankings.
A lot of things got to happen during college football. They're putting out rankings. They're putting out overall team rankings about how good the defenses are, how good the offenses are. And if you don't play the video game, that's cool. If you do play the video game, you might be looking for your team. Obviously, there are a lot of Gamecocks here. They rank the top 25. Newsflash, I don't think it's a surprise. Gamecocks are not in either one of the top 25 offenses or defenses for college football. I don't think that is as much a surprise. But what was interesting to me was seeing where some of the teams that we ranked, that we played, or that we play were ranked based on college football. So if you're going to play this game or if you're going to go through some simulations, these are the teams that you might be playing. And it's talking season when we're talking about rankings of a virtual game that are supposed to be simulating real life. We'll see how it goes. Here's Bud Elliott. Let's start with issues. Here's Bud Elliott talking about the offensive rankings. This is clip number 4, talking about the offensive issues he has with the rankings from EA Sports.
Here are the biggest problems with how EA Sports rated the offenses in its college ball video game. First, NC State. 16th? What? Look, NC State last year was almost in the hundreds in offense. I like Grayson McCall. I like the tight end they got from UConn, but still, 16th? It'd be a miracle just to get in the top 40. Number 2, Colorado. Colorado put up a lot of yards, but the offense actually sucked. Shedeur Sanders is a good quarterback. I like Travis Hunter. The offensive line still can't block a soul. They have nothing at tight end. The running backs are mid. I don't see it. Utah at 11? Betting a lot on Cam Rising. Miami at 7, a lot of belief in Cam Ward, and a couple pretty egregious snubs. Where's Oklahoma State? Everybody returns. It's a Mike Gundy coached offense. Where's Tennessee? We don't think Nico can play. He looked fine against Iowa. How is Ole Miss and Penn State and Miami basically rated the same on offense? Ole Miss scores points. Those other teams, it's very TBD. USC almost fell out of the top 25. Same with FSU. I don't know, man. I think we got issues here. Let me know what you think.
Quick breakdown. So that was the teams that he thought there was a snub, and the first thing that I heard out of that whole thing was, oh yeah, Grayson McCall is not at Coastal anymore.
That's right.
That was a shocker just now.
Yeah.
I knew that, but I think I forgot that. So that was very.
The Cam Ward one was the one that caught me.
Okay, Cam Ward.
Cam Ward, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah. So another good. If you've forgotten where some folks were, so transfer portal Tuesday on a Friday. But the offenses, as so it rates. If you're looking at our schedule, obviously Old Dominion does not have a team.
I'm just trying to, in my mind, as you said that, I'm trying to think if you're buying the game or if you're getting the game on the 16th and you're thinking about this through the terms of, okay, the offenses my defense has to face
that's
when I'm leading South Carolina to, okay,
that's what I'm saying.
All right, there
that's
you
what
go.
I'm saying. So first off, LSU's offense ranked number 6. Ranked number 6. LSU's offense ranked number 6. Bama's offense ranked number 3. Okay. Ole Miss ranked number 9. Texas A&M ranked number 18. Oklahoma ranked number 23. So out of the top 25 offenses, we play 2, 4, 6, 7 of them. So if you talked about our strength of schedule, oh yeah, I forgot to mention Clemmy and Missouri. So out of the 25 offenses that college football ranked, we play 7 of them. We knew it was a tough schedule, but now it's officially confirmed to be a tough schedule by college football. See, it doesn't matter what all
by
the
EA
other
Sports college football.
Yes. Doesn't matter what all the other projections say. What matters is that when you run your simulations, it's going to be a tough time.
Recruit heavily, defense.
It's going to be a difficult
when you
time.
get the game. Recruit heavily for the defense.
All of these teams are ranked really high. Missouri at number 9, Ole Miss at, which might be low for Ole Miss, at number 13, and not sure why Clemson is ranked number 10. I don't think they have proven anything to be ranked that high.
Yeah, I wouldn't have them ahead of Ole Miss.
Yeah, I would not have that either. But Oklahoma at number 23. So those are the offenses. But this whole thing could be proved invalid because they also have Colorado ranked number 8.
No, I'm okay with that because Colorado's offense, they're good offensively. It's defensively. You could combine Colorado and Southern Cal and still not stop the 3 of us.
Yeah.
With their defense, but no, Colorado, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter. Now the problem is that's Colorado, as you've pointed out, is number 8 on offense to start the season, but by midseason when Shedeur Sanders has a knee, an ankle, a toe, and he's all of a sudden out, then that drops significantly. So 7. So give those runnings because LSU, you'd get them in week 3.
They're number 6.
Okay.
We got Bama, who's number 3. Missouri, ranked number 9. Ole Miss, ranked number 13. Texas A&M, number 18. Oklahoma, number 23. And Clemson is 10. So out of
Texas A&M and Clemson are the 2 I'd take out of there.
You take out it. So you're saying we won't take them seriously?
I don't take them seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Elko, obviously known as a good coach, but not necessarily known as an offensive coach. I think that might be more just based on the projection of they got a bunch of dudes there.
They do.
They'll probably be decent. It was always interesting because Texas A&M had the dudes and supposedly always had Jimbo Fisher, who was supposed to be an offensive guy, and their offenses never quite lived up to what that combination was supposed to yield. So
yeah,
we'll see about that.
Yeah, I believe as you were talking, as we've discussed this, I've realized as soon as I leave here, I am going by a store and picking up a Phil Steele or an Athlon. It's time.
There you go.
It's time. This will be a good weekend, getting ready for the fireworks on Lake Murray and everything. It's time, and because I think the other thing is you're counting on Connor Wiegman to be the quarterback there for Texas A&M.
That's a name that feels like been around for a while.
Oh, if you think he's been around for a while, this is only his third year. How about the name Max Johnson?
Yeah, Max.
Yeah, Mad Max there. 803-404-6100. That's the offense. We'll get into the defense when we come back. We'll let Preston break down the defense as well.
Are there snubs? Should anybody be in here? All this is basically preparing for when you simulate the game, who do you have to go against?
There you go.
Or can your skills overcome these great offenses and defenses?
803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game.
Preston here. Let me tell you about my friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, that's no problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you, usually for free, and they'll work directly with the insurance company to take away your headache. That's right. They will come out to your location wherever you are, school, home, work. They'll give you a quote, and they'll do the job, take away the headache, no problems. So if you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows and mirrors, Absolute Glass will come out and take care of that for you too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. Say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
I-26 eastbound, just after exit 129, report of an accident there. Also, Screaming Eagle Road at McCord's Ferry and Highway 6 at Sharon Church Road. You might find a slowdown as well. And as far as that forecast goes, so yeah, I was doing a little calculating on the NOAA website, and when you take the air temperature and then you add in the relative humidity, the calculation does come up correctly for Sunday, of the heat index being 112 potentially. So, yeah, that's what we're looking at. 93 today with some afternoon storms, 95 on Saturday with that heat index potentially 108, and Sunday 96, again, with a heat index of 112. But it's only 73 right now on 107.5 The Game.
.35 on your final Friday of June. Final Friday of June. Boy, we have just... Hey, is this an age thing where it feels like time just speeds up?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the old pie theory, right? You know, at one point, you know, the slices of the pie were a lot bigger. And now the more years you add, the slices get a lot smaller. So when you were turning 2 years old, half a pie. 3, 4, 5. You start getting more of those slices up. The slices get a lot smaller.
It's amazing how quickly we've arrived here. Because here in Columbia on Lake Murray, you have the fireworks this weekend, the big fireworks show where everybody turns out, and it's always a lot of fun. And as you said, it's halftime of the summer.
Yeah,
this is kind of the halftime of the summer.
We're right here, Friday night. It's going into Saturday in July. But yes, for us as adults, our summers get quicker and quicker. I just hope for the kids that they have the joy of just having a really boring summer. Like, oh my God, what day is it? What time? Where am I? How long is it going to last? Boring, long, boring summers was a great thing.
The summer that always stood out the most to me was the O.J. Simpson trial summer.
Okay, yeah, that was long.
That was like a long, because that's all that was on television.
Yeah, and you're like, all right, man, whatever. Yeah, for sure. I could relate to it.
803-404-6100, how you can weigh in if you want to do so. So, all right, you just gave the offensive ratings. I tell you what, let's do this. Let's listen to Bud Elliott here. This is 24/7 Sports on the EA Sports defensive ratings. Here's Bud Elliott talking.
Biggest problems with the defensive ratings in EA Sports college football. Colorado, what the hell? A top 20 defense? How many guys in this defense are going pro? Most of these guys can't play a lick. USC, what? Guys, yeah, they got a new coordinator, but they didn't get anybody worth the damn in the transfer portal. This defense is still going to suck. North Carolina, when did they start playing defense? Ditto for Florida. How about the snubs? Nebraska, not in the top 25? All of the teams I just talked about would trade defenses with Nebraska in a heartbeat. Iowa, not in the top 10? This is like the oldest Iowa defense in history. You don't think Iowa, with the defense as old as BYU, is going to be pretty damn good? Ole Miss, not listed? Ole Miss spent a fortune in the transfer portal. Way better defensive personnel than all those teams I started out this video with. No Tennessee? How do you have James Pierce and that defensive line and not have men? Look, still going to play. Still going to be a lot of fun. They have a lot of chances to make updates.
Ooh.
Bud Elliott, like, just throwing smoke everywhere.
The hottest take of that is like, well, because of the rankings, let's see. I don't know if I'm going to be involved and interested in that. All right, Bud, I think you're still going to be interested if you're already interested. But here's the deal. What matters is if you are going to be interested, assuming that you're going to be using South Carolina to go through the simulation. Again, not a surprise. I don't know what Bud was talking about. He didn't mention that we have a Heisman dark horse candidate. I don't know how he missed that for us.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't mention that for us. But looking at our schedule, obviously for the defenses, I'm sorry, LSU is going to be ranked lower than higher than you would think, but still not actually high. They're ranked number 18th. That you look at, obviously, Old Dominion's not mentioned. Ole Miss not mentioned. Texas A&M number 19. No Missouri, and Oklahoma at number 12. Clemson and Bama at 4 at 5-4 respectively.
Clemson and Bama 5-4.
So the defenses 2, 4, 5 of the teams that we play, their defenses are ranked in the top 25.
Now I'm with him. Is Southern Cal in that top 25? Because he said Southern Cal is ranked higher. He's ranked.
Yes, Southern Cal is in the top 25. Let me look and see where they exactly
and also if you've got it, where is LSU? Because you said LSU.
LSU's number 18.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
See, you have to all of a sudden. This does take credibility away. From what we're talking about here, because LSU at 18 and Southern Cal anywhere in the top 25 shows me that there was more focus on stadiums than there was on actual defensive players.
Yeah, as you know, LSU was they had squandered away a Heisman Trophy historic season last year because they couldn't stop anything, and USC very similar, also could not stop anybody. So yeah, but what they're banking on, I'm assuming, is that they have the recruiting that's there, and this is again a simulation.
Well, you said what they're banking on, the EA Sports people.
Yes, the EA Sports are banking on that. There's a lot of recruits and dudes flying around, so that's going to be the part on the simulation that might be a little bit difficult for you.
Okay, all right. So, still, as a person who takes this very seriously, not a fan, not real thrilled with this. It meant some of those guys got better ratings than maybe they should have, because maybe that's the next thing. If they're putting out, maybe they're going to put out the top 10 quarterbacks, because now I have a question real quick. Are they going to have, like Madden, is it going to just be the old school way that we had it where it was just numbers, number 94 out there playing defensive tackle, or is it going to actually say P. Thorne?
Oh, that's a good question. That's an interesting question, because a lot of the players
they're getting a check.
So once they opted in, I would assume that if your school has your name on your jerseys, you probably will have the name on the jersey. But if they don't, then it doesn't.
That's
probably how that'll work.
I'm kind of interested to see. Well, no, I meant just like underneath, because like underneath, if you scroll through to find your defensive end, it normally tells you the name. I'm kind of interested to know that, and I say that because there's going to be a lot of players for Southern Cal and LSU who will be able to look at the name and be like, wait a minute, he's not a 94 overall.
Yeah.
No. It's not how it works. Where do you think where would you project South Carolina to be? 50 over or under?
Ooh, good call. Slightly one. That's the thing about South Carolina. They've been aggressively mediocre by all ratings. And if we're going to take 50 as the median, I think they're more likely to be in the 50 to 60 range than in the 40 to 50 range.
It is interesting. Earlier this week, I believe it was J.C. Sherbert who was on with us, who basically kind of said his contacts, his sources have indicated this defense. I think it was him. I could be wrong. It might have been Strickland. Who kind of indicated they think the defense is going to be better than we believe.
I hope.
That's summertime talk.
I hope that he's talking to sources that are very close to the program and see these. That's the delusion of summer sometimes. You see guys working.
You mean like last year when we thought the DeCarrion Joyner running back thing was...
and it's not your fault, but you just see these guys working out. They're like lifting weights and doing drills and making a lot of noises going around. Cause like, you know what? We might be pretty good this year. And then you have to actually play football. Then
you go run it. Yeah. It's kind of like, what is it? We'll get back into this discussion in August when we hear the offense is ahead of the defense or the defense is ahead of the offense.
Yeah, again, I coached high school football for a long time. Somewhere around this, you see your guys working out. It's like, man, we might have a chance this year. We might be pretty good. You don't see Dutch Fork.
I was going to say, the problem is you don't see the other teams working out.
You don't see Tom Knotts running his machine over there. You're like, oh yeah, those dudes are pretty good too.
803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in this morning. We come back. De La Soul. What was the name of it?
De La Soul of the Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising. First debut album from De La Soul.
We will get into Preston's breakdown of that. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. It is the early game. Bill Gunner for Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Clean. Did you know the summer is the best time to get your carpets clean? During the hot, humid summer months, bacteria and allergens are at an all-time high in your home. And to keep your family free and clear from these allergens, you need to contact the cleaning pros at Zerorez. 803-262-4020 is how you can get in touch with them. Right now, mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and you'll get 15% off all cleaning services. That's right, carpets, area rugs, upholstery, tile, air ducts, all of it. 15% off. You can also go online, zerorezcolumbia.com, and book. Use the promo code Summer Sale when booking that way. But again, you can also call 803-262-4020 and mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game to get 15% off all cleaning services. Zerorez, spell it backwards and forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Preston here, let me tell you about my friends at Benji Getzy, my broker, your broker, and my friends at Buford Lending. Buford Lending is a true mortgage broker offering the widest variety of government mortgage programs and the best mortgage experience for clients through its state-of-the-art technology and record low interest rates. Their goal is to make your next mortgage experience and closing easier, cheaper, faster, and friendlier. Benji and his team are VA, FHA, and USDA government loan experts and offer competitive jumbo financing as well as conventional and construction lending. Benji has helped over 8,000 families experience the dream of homeownership. So shop your rate with Buford Lending today. We want to be your broker. It's 843-524-2404. That's 843-524-2404.
mirror on the wall. Tell me, mirror, what is wrong? Can it be my De La clothes or is it just my De La song? What I do ain't make believe. People say I sit and try, but
When it comes to being De La, it's just me, myself, and I.
Wow.
Welcome back into the early game. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. That was Plug 2, Dave Trugoy of De La Soul. One of, if not the most creative groups in hip-hop, in music history, but especially in the genre of hip-hop. This is from their debut album, 3 Feet High and Rising, which we have today for our album review. And this was really an interesting ride for me because I had never, again, listened to the album in full. Always been I know all the songs, all the hits, but I haven't listened to the album in full in a really long time. And the thing about De La is that they come along at a time in hip hop history where you have Public Enemy. They're tough, they're brash, they're political, they're coarse around the edges. Chuck D has this booming voice. Then you have NWA. They're gangster, they're cursing, they're pushing the envelope. Run DMC is cool, wearing the cool clothes. And then you have these dudes who are wearing daisies and medallions and basically marketing themselves as these hippies coming along, and they're the first really, I would say, alternative rap group. And they make this music that has all these different sample sources. As I was saying yesterday, when I got to Steely Dan from De La Soul because they sampled them a couple of times, and they would use all of these weird samples and just have a bunch of interesting things. And it's really interesting that we're coming on the backs of Steely Dan because De La is very similar in that there's so many layers and inside jokes, and half of the poetry you don't understand exactly what they're saying. You know how Steely Dan, they make songs and it's like, I don't actually know what that means, but it sounds cool. And so that's where 3 Feet High and Rising. This is a proclamation. Outkast is the greatest hip hop group of all time. However, if somebody was to say that their favorite or that the best hip hop group of all time was De La Soul, they wouldn't be wrong. And if they were also to say that that De La is one of the most expressive groups of all time, they absolutely would not be wrong. So huge contributions to music in general, but the thing that they're known for is their playfulness. They're doing all these weird things. I don't know if I think I might have sent you the video.
Oh yeah.
It's that they're just being they're very whimsical, very fun.
Just very fun.
Very fun. And I think they were probably between them and the Beasties were probably one of the first groups that really incorporate humor into rap music, because all prior to that, very, very serious or very, very braggadocious or very, very, I have a point. They're going to be the first guys, especially. And what's really interesting about this whole thing that we've talked about, much like some of these other artists, is how influential the music videos were. Because you see the music videos, you get a picture for who these people are, and you start to form their image of these artists.
Did those videos lead into what you and I really know as the late 90s videos with the storytelling and everything?
It's sort of very, very similar. So you have the different images, and the thing about De La is everything that they do is going to be really abstract, kind of off-kilter, doesn't make a lot of sense to the mainstream. And they brought the mainstream to them. The best thing about De La is they really got popular off this first album, 3 Feet High and Rising. They were supposed to be the hippies, the new saviors, and their second album was called De La Soul is Dead, in which they essentially just killed themselves off, and they were like, that was fun. We don't do that. This is another thing that we do. And again, it was really quirky. Probably the first group to have a lot of skits on their album, which became a part of rap in the future. So just a seminal group. One of the greatest music groups, and definitely one of the top 5 hip hop groups for my money. So De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it. It's a collage of sounds. So many different songs coming at you. Tremendous group.
I need to listen to that, because that's one of my favorites. And in fact, I still want to hear it. I also think of it was used in a movie, Never Been Kissed, with Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
And, just seeing her walking down the hall, hi guys. And it's like, yeah, that was fun music.
That's really interesting, that connection, because it is a high school-ish type of song. And another thing that's always fascinating to me is that these artists were so young when they created this. I believe they were like 19, 18.
Well, I'm just looking. Did you know when this was released?
Ooh, I would probably say 89.
Very good. March 3rd, 1989.
I would probably say 89, and I was probably say
35 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Man, I saw a video the other day of how old Alice from the Brady Bunch was, and it's like, okay, wait a minute. They were saying she was like 46. Okay, that's painful. So some of those types of things. I just saw a video on that yesterday. So you're talking about painful things. Yeah, that hurt.
That is tough. That's tough when you hear those ages. It's like, yeah, I'm past that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of fun. Go and watch the videos. Check them out. De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising. Check out their whole discography. And again, another group where it's just the rabbit holes you can go down listening to their music.
They're going to see a bump in sales and like, what happened? Where? Thanks, Preston.
Also, their music is now available on digital streaming platforms, which it wasn't for a very long time.
Okay.
There you go. All right, we'll do more of it. We'll do 2 more hours. We'll do 2 more hours.
We'll be back.
We'll do 2 more hours. Hour 2 on the way. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, they've been the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. It is their proven history that is your assurance that their professionals will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility. And they'll do it in a manner that's both safe and pleasing to your operation. Most importantly, they do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can give them a phone call right now, 6:56 a.m., and they will have someone ready to speak with you, and either an on-call technician or a mid-state roofing employee that can help you with a maintenance contract. So give them a phone call, 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. You can visit them online, midstateroofing.com. They will take care of you from high-rises to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial. They design and install bonded systems with a protective guarantee that keeps your operation dry and running long into the future. So give Midstate Roofing a call today. If you've got a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Highway 6 at Sharon Church Road. We do have a report of an accident there. Also, Could be getting slowed down. I-26 eastbound just after exit 129. And Screaming Eagle Road at McCord's Ferry Road, also a report of an accident. 93 for the high today. Some afternoon storms are possible. And then we get into the silly heat. It looks like this weekend. 95 for the high on Saturday, but that heat index could be 108. Warming up just a little bit more for Sunday, 96, with a potential heat index of 112. And again, chances for showers and thunderstorms in the afternoons and evenings of both of those days. Right now, though, it's overcast and 73 on the early game.
Seven a.m. as we get you up and get you going here on a June the 28th Friday morning. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen as we roll through the final work day, business day. By the way, did you guys see there's like a growing push to go to a 4-day-a-week, 3-day weekend work week, I guess?
You know what? Honestly, Americans in general just burn themselves out because you feel like you cannot leave work. The fact that we have cell phones that have your email and everything, it seems like you don't ever get to disconnect. So I don't think that's a terrible thing. I really don't.
Does that mean we would go to a 4-day work week?
I don't know.
How would that work for us?
Yeah, that'd be assuming that we actually even work. So
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, honestly,
we'll be here.
it's just sports
Solid point.
stuff.
So, yeah, we got
You
that.
don't escape sports.
It's probably for people who do real work in 112-degree
Correct.
heat index.
Yeah.
Do actual
Really working
work.
hard.
People who do for real work.
Yeah. Now, as we roll along here on a Friday morning, and get you up and get you going. Really, for a lot of people, this is kind of like a final work day before next week, where a lot of you probably are taking the week off and just out there hanging out, relaxing, and having a good time. Getting ready for the 4th of July. Again, the fireworks here in Columbia on Lake Murray will be tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening, I guess. And so that'll kind of lead us into July, where we will flip the calendar over and start paying a little bit more attention to the start of college football season, which is, again, according to our countdown, how many days away?
64 days away at this point to Old Dominion. And that's because there is a game previous to that. So it's not the college football season, but I am one of those people who the season starts when we start.
Okay.
So 64 days until Old Dominion.
Yeah, just if you're wondering, there is week 0 or whatever we want to call it, the headliner there, and this is the new thing we're doing, which is un-American and not college football, but we're sending teams to Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah,
Florida State and Georgia Tech.
Okay. It was interesting when you sent Notre Dame over there. There was the natural connection. I thought that was cool.
Why?
We're just sending random teams over there.
Are we just trying different types of beer? Like, what's the
market share, I guess.
For those wondering, opening weekend.
Good for the folks in Dublin, though. They get to see a decent game, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. Delaware State and Hawaii also to be played that day. Montana State and New Mexico, and SMU at Nevada. That means, do you know what that means? I'm going to tell you something, and you're going to be like, yeah, and it's going to blow your mind.
Okay.
That means 3 ACC teams play on week 0.
SMU starts in the ACC this year. That's official. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Remember, as we count down, there's no more Pac-12. It's a Pac-2.
I think this is and I was just thinking about it, I think this is a better game than the one that we offered to the good folks of Ireland 2 years ago where we sent Nebraska and Northwestern over there. That was
We punished people.
They should get their money back.
Like, was that 2 years? Was that last year? Or was that 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago.
For some reason, we decided to punish the people
Yeah.
of Ireland.
Here you go. Here's our best offering of American football: Nebraska and Northwestern.
SMU's, for the record, SMU's first ACC game will be against Florida State there on September 28th. They will go to Florida State for their first ACC contest.
Burn that in my brain.
Yeah, you're going to have to think a little bit about that. So our countdown is on as we roll along. We wrap up the NBA draft. Very uneventful. Quite honestly, boring. I think the Lakers had the best selection. Maybe Dalton Connect, the most NBA-ready person. But then they go in the second round and select Bronny James to make sure LeBron stays. I really thought somebody may hold them hostage by drafting Bronny James. I do wonder if there was like a memo put out to all the other teams in the league, like, look, he won't play for you.
Yeah, there are reports, sources say that Rich Paul, LeBron's agent, Bronny's agent, separate clients, was doing what agents are supposed to do and creating the most leverage for his client and saying that, if another team picks him, then he will probably go play professionally elsewhere, particularly they were saying Australia. And so even if that was something that was on somebody's board, he's not good enough to be worth that risk. So he basically was telling everybody else to stay away.
So he hung in there till the 55th pick when the Lakers selected him. And I saw on our run, you've got the improbability of this.
Yeah, I mean, this is amazing. This is actually amazing for it to happen. I agree with it or even condone it, but the idea that LeBron is an impossibility, the idea of him becoming who he's been through the league for this amount of time, to be this good, it is a one-of-one situation that will never happen again. I will say that. Or else I probably won't be around, or maybe the NBA won't be around until this happens. But for him to have played for 21 years, still be at this level of success, to have this type of leverage in any organization at this point. Because if somebody was hanging around in the NBA at year 20, they're usually 8th, 9th guy. They're Udonis Haslem.
Right.
Cool, good, but you don't run things around here. So I think it's amazing and very fascinating, I think is a word. So I can use the word fascinating because then I'm not putting any judgment on it. It's just very interesting to watch that this is actually happening. And as you stated, we've been getting this carrot's been dangled in front of us for years. When the idea of saying, like, yeah, I want to play with my son one day, it's like, all right, cool, man. And he actually made it happen. That's fascinating to me.
Did he make it happen, or how much do you give to Bronny James for buying in? I don't know if he's an NBA prospect, and quite frankly, he's a second-round pick. So,
which a large majority of second-round picks do not play or make rosters.
Right. Like he because there is an element to this. Look, you got to give Bronny James some credit for at least getting himself to the point where we do consider him. I mean, he was a top 100 recruit. I think he was a top 50. I don't know where he really finished up when recruiting was all said and done. He was expected to contribute. I don't know how much the cardiac arrest that he suffered at the beginning of last year at Southern Cal affected him. It did affect him. How much, again, I don't know. But, yeah, because everybody jokes he only averaged 4.8 points and 2.1 assists. But there is an element of, look, Bronny James didn't just be like, oh, I'm LeBron's son, I'll be drafted. It doesn't matter if I can't walk and dribble at the same time.
Yeah, and by all things that we've seen in the media, all the press interviews with him, he seems to be a genuinely humble, respectful young man, which how do you be a humble, respectful young man when your parents are billionaires and you also are a Division I athlete? Almost impossible. For them to thread that needle, that seems really cool. All of that's well and good, but I don't know if he's an NBA player.
Well, the other part of this, going back to what you just said, is in a day and age where everybody out there is a reporter. Everybody has the ability to video or take a picture of something nefarious to put on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, whatever, seeing LeBron in a precarious situation. There's a video out there of now Kawhi Leonard at the Kendrick Lamar concert.
Okay.
Doing a slightly illegal thing. I won't go down that path, but
Legal in California?
is it? I don't know.
Oh.
I know it's legal in Vegas.
Isn't everything legal in California?
Yeah, anything goes out there. It's a Wild West. But and he's also kind of hidden in the picture, but somebody saw it and snapped a picture, and now it's circulating. But, like, you just think about Ja Morant and some of the things he's done. LeBron's never been in trouble.
21, not longer than 21 years. 24 years in the spotlight.
I mean, we joke, boy, what would have been Jordan's life if you could, because all it was people like, man, I saw Jordan in the casino at 4 a.m. Like, at 4 a.m., you were drunk.
I think he had some bad shrimp, yeah.
Right. The flu game.
Yeah. Like, back 25 years, 30 years ago, if you saw Jordan, your buddy was like, dude, he's in New York. You're drunk. You were up at 4 a.m. in the casino. And they were like, no, I promise. But, I mean, even Kobe Bryant, for everything that was Kobe Bryant, he found his way into controversy. And LeBron has not done that. And if you also don't know the backstory of LeBron, he kind of dedicated himself to being the best father he could.
For sure.
And he is, I don't know if he considers himself openly corny, but he is
he's number one dad humor guy. Like the best part was when there was like they were doing some of those pre-draft interviews or whatever, and they would ask him Bronny what his favorite meal was, and they were like, Bronny, so what would you have on your favorite meal? And the reporter was like, do you like Taco Tuesday? And Bronny was like, no. No, that's Dad's thing. It's not my thing.
And that's kind of the point. And that's why, in one way, this is a really cool thing. And then I get it. There's a lot of people out there that are probably like, man, LeBron's in the news again.
Yeah, and we're having and that's why we're having two different conversations. From a basketball standpoint, I think it's patently ridiculous. Right. Absolutely. From a human element story standpoint about a father and his child, and then you said the backstory of LeBron, and I read LeBron's book, and his background situation was way worse than is sort of implemented, because he doesn't talk about it, he doesn't dwell on it, so he's moved forward, and he's an American hero. To raise himself from where he is to where he is now is almost impossible, and he did it through the great genetics.
Incredible genetics. I mean,
he was gifted 101, but for him to do this is amazing. That is the human element story. But people are having different conversations. Right. Two different things. Basketball, ridiculous. Human element, amazing.
803-404-6100. I tell you what, Jen, let's get out to the Love Chevy phone line. Steve wants to weigh in. Steve, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
How y'all doing?
What's up, man?
Good. Let's face it. Okay, that guy, I wonder how much LeBron paid to get him in the league, because that guy only averaged 5 points in college. So where is he NBA material? Where is he ready for that? And I just don't. NBA's lost a lot of viewers in a way, so I'm pretty sure this is going to knock him down some more. Because the little guy that's going to Duke, the freshman, I can't think of his name. He could have went in the NBA draft, but he decided to go to school. And that's the one who beat him in the McDonald All-American game on a one-on-one ball game. And that guy, he could have really went up. He would have been picked high, but he decided he wanted education. But LeBron doing this now because he had the 21 years starting to wear off on him, so he want to get his son there with him now, because he know he ain't got much. His body ain't gonna be able to take too much more of that run up down that 90-foot court. I just don't think. I think he should let his son mature, and let him really make his way there, instead of. To me, it's like it just put him in there to play with his dad and get it over with, because he's not NBA material, and we all know that.
Yeah, but but Steve, we'd have all done the same thing for our son. You do it.
Oh yeah.
You do it. And LeBron's got the pool.
Oh yeah.
LeBron's got the pool.
I would have did it.
Yep. There you go. I appreciate the phone call.
Appreciate it, Steve.
Yeah, that's the other part. Like we all agree. I don't know if Bronny, he's not ready yet. I've talked to enough people that have scout basketball still, and we just kind of talk about the draft and stuff. He's not ready. Nobody denies that. But also, LeBron did this. This is Dad stepping in. And the other part that I do truly believe, Bronny's like, all right, I'm doing this for Dad. And I'm going to do it for 2 years because I would imagine LeBron's got 2 years left in him. And the Lakers also were like, all right, we'll do it for you. We'll make it happen because this didn't enhance their NBA championship opportunities.
No.
This didn't make them a better championship team. 803-404-6100. We'll continue along, talk a little more football, get back into some EA Sports, college football, and we'll even get back into the NBA draft. Preston might have a wild hot take. He might have a wild college basketball hot take.
It's been on my back burner for a minute, and this is my guy, too. But I don't know.
Stay tuned this hour.
My guy.
We'll get to a lot of it.
Maybe overrated.
You're listening. Yeah, an overrated national championship coach. We'll tell you more about it. 803-404-6100. It is the early game. Bill Gunner for Love Chevrolet, where the 14 acres of brand new Chevys are waiting for you to come out and visit, take a look, and find the absolute best prices. The Summer Spectacular is rolling along, and trust me, if you're in the market for a car, truck, or SUV, there's no better place to go than Love Chevrolet, where, again, 14 acres of brand new Chevys, which means you find the largest selection of Chevys anywhere here in the Midlands, and that goes along with the $1,000 low price guarantee, which means you can actually shop other dealerships, take that deal back to the folks at Love Chevrolet, and they will top it, or they'll write you a check for $1,000. Go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, where the summer savings are going on for the entire lineup of award-winning Chevrolets. So get out to Love Chevrolet today, and together, let's drive.
And taking a peek at the traffic conditions out there on the highway this morning, we see Highway 6 at Sharon Church Road, also Screaming Eagle Road at McCord's Ferry, and Spears Creek Church Road at I-20. Also an accident there. So be careful, please, this morning once you're kicking off your weekend to be going well. And 93 is going to be our high today with some afternoon or evening thunderstorms. 95 tomorrow, that heat index at 108, and Sunday, 96 for the high, heat index of 112. And both of those days, we could also see those afternoon or evening thunderstorms. But it's kind of cloudy right now, and it's only 74 on the early game.
$7:20 as we roll along here. We'll get back into the NBA draft. Preston's got a hot take, I think.
Yeah. It's simmering and it's tough.
Hold on to it just a minute. We'll get into that in just a minute. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines, though. Will wants to weigh in on Gamecock football recruiting. Will, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good.
What's up, man?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of comment on the Landon Duckworth decommitment. You know, what do you think that means for the future of the quarterback besides, having Dante Reno and Sellers? I know we just got Cutter Woods. Can y'all elaborate on him a little bit? And, what do you think Beamer has to do to get us over the hump? You know what I mean? Get us back in a top 25 ranking at least, back in that spotlight a little bit. How do y'all see the season playing out? Me personally, I got 6 wins at the max, looking at 4 and 8 if you ain't careful. But just kind of looking at, the recruiting, I mean, it is very hard to recruit against Alabama, Georgia, Florida, teams that have a whole lot of money to pay these players. And I'm just kind of wondering, if Beamer has a good year this year, I think we should keep him. I like Beamer a whole lot. I think he's a great guy, great coach. But like I said, I mean, I think, in the next 2 years, we should really start to see that turnaround start to happen. Or I feel like, certain people are going to be like, all right, you've had your time. You know what I mean? So just kind of I'll hang up, and I'll take y'all's answers, and thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it. Number one, let's get back to your original.
I think we can address all of the lessons are really big questions that I don't know if we have the time right now to address it, but I think we can address the quarterback question initially.
Yeah, and I'll say this, and I might be in the minority on this, and I think it's still evolving. Quarterback recruiting is as irrelevant as it's ever been.
Relevant or irrelevant?
Irrelevant.
Okay.
As irrelevant as it's ever been.
Continue.
And I'll tell you why, because obviously you want to land a guy. I'm not sure, though, at this point, you don't recruit the quarterback room with the idea of having depth and you find your starting quarterback in the transfer portal. The transfer portal now, because you see all these guys and they're going to all these. I mean, look at what Kentucky just did. They went and got a 5-star guy from Georgia and Brock Vandegrift. Now, I don't know if he's going to be any good or not.
I mean, I just got surprised that Grayson McCall was at NC State.
Grayson McCall's at NC State. Just think about this. The last 2 Heisman winners were transfers. Is it only the last 2? It might even be the last 3.
Well, we've done that before.
Look at what Oklahoma went on a run of with Kyler Murray. Well, you go back Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Jalen Hurts, and that was almost pre-transfer portal what we're at now. So losing a commitment, losing Ryan Montgomery, they lost. They I guess never had him, so you didn't lose him, but they thought they were going to get a commitment from him. Losing Landon Duckworth, you're going to be able to go into the transfer portal at the end of this year and look around if Lenore Sellers is not the guy that you think he is, and and go find you can go make a run for a big time quarterback.
Yeah, and I've never been a real recruiting, really real follow recruiting. But I would say for my best advice would be probably not to put too much stock in any commitments past the current year.
Yeah.
So if it's the 2 years removed,
Unless they're in state,
that does add another layer. But if they're 2 years removed, cool that they committed. Fine if they decommit, because there's so many moving pieces in between. Who knows what's going to end up happening by the time? And I believe Landon was a 2026.
He's 2026, yeah. He's going into his junior year.
That's a long ways away. So I don't think that has any bearing on Landon or Gamecock recruiting as far as what does this say in a bigger picture sense.
Now, if you can go land an elite quarterback, and Duckworth was, at least right now, early on, rated. He's, I think, around 120 overall as a prospect. I mean, certainly if you can go out and land a 5-star guy. But let me just point out again what just happened at Oklahoma. All right? I don't know if anybody really followed what happened at Oklahoma, where Dylan Gabriel goes there. Was it Gabriel? I'm pretty sure. And then whoever it is just transferred to Oregon. But whoever it was. But let me pull these numbers back up for you and do this properly without just doing it, because obviously we were not prepared to have this discussion.
But while you
Dylan Gabriel this past year for Oklahoma threw for 30 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He threw for 3,660 yards. His backup is Jackson Arnold, who is a 5-star quarterback. Jackson Arnold honestly went to Oklahoma to sit 1 year and then expected to start. And Oklahoma basically had to tell Dylan Gabriel, thank you for your 30 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Thank you for your 3,600 yards. Thank you for completing almost 70% of your passes. You're not the starter next year. And they basically named Jackson Arnold the starter in the bowl game, and Dylan Gabriel is now at Oregon.
And in that situation, hopefully everybody was honest and upfront about what was happening. So everybody, and this is the plus side of the transfer portal, because these things have always kind of happened. But if you're saying this, then Dylan Gabriel could make a choice and move on if he so chose. Going back to the Grayson McCall situation, remember they had the whole conversation at NC State where, and I forget his specific name, but the young man was like, I don't want to continue playing because I don't want to burn my red shirt as I move forward, because I'm not going to be the starter in the next year. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that can happen. But just to the specific question about this specific recruit, I would not put too much stock in somebody being a 2026 or a couple years down the road. Probably keep the focus as close as possible. If you're losing people from your immediate class, then you might ask some questions. But 2 years down the road, I don't think it's not an indictment on him nor the Gamecock recruiting.
I'm going to need to go and research Dylan Gabriel a little bit, because I knew he was old.
Uh-oh. Check his birth certificate.
He'll be 24 by the end of the year.
That's fair.
He's 23. This will be college football season number 6. And he's had 4 seasons in which he threw more than 360 passes.
And he's going to Oregon, correct?
He's going to Oregon now.
Yeah, Bo Nix is going to show him where
Nix,
he's going to show him where all the senior citizens
where all the good early bird dinners are. Yeah.
He's going to show him out.
Bo Nix, you got competition.
This is where the older folks hang out.
That's the thing about quarterbacking now is look, if you land an elite quarterback, they'll sit 1 year max, and then they're off. They expect to start by year 2, and if your starter's not living up to it, and that's the other thing when you talk about guys behind Lenora Sellers. They're going to expect to play Dante Reno. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Robbie Ashford. Of course, he's only got 1 year left. We'll get into that. We'll get into more phone calls. Again, we got to get to Preston's NBA hot take, and I'll get some news. There's some news yesterday. Some people were named head high school coaches of sports, and I'll tell you all about that. Former Gamecocks. We'll get into that here as we roll along this hour. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, she's Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
64 days until the season, 65 days until the Southern 500, which all means everything is counting down, and our good friends at Integrated Media can help you get yourself set up. Get your outdoors ready. You probably won't be spending a lot of time in 100 to 12-degree heat, but the fall and relief is coming, and it'd be a great time to sit outside with Samsung Terrace TVs that are waterproof, Sonos outdoor speakers for TV and music, and Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors. So from home theater setup to adjusting your thermostat or monitoring your security systems from your cell phone, Integrated Media is the company that you need to call. It's called Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327. Or reach them online at integratedmediainc.com. That's online at integratedmediainc.com.
And we do have a couple slowdowns to make you aware of. Kilburn Road at Rosewood Drive, also Spears Creek Church Road near I-20. If you're in the Lexington area, right there by the flight deck, there are fire trucks on the scene. Something going on, a structure fire there at the flight deck shopping center. So probably a little extra chaos in that area. So if you can avoid that intersection there at Old Chapin and whatever they call it, 378 or whatever, right there at that corner, do be careful and maybe find an alternate route just to get by there. And as far as your forecast is concerned, 93 is the high with afternoon or evening storms. Heat index is well over 100 this weekend, and chances for rain and storms. It's 74 right now.
$7:35 as we roll along here on your Friday morning, final Friday of June. And then we'll flip the calendar on Monday over to July. And, well, we'll really get into some football. Start getting into some football discussion. We'll survive next week. We'll get through next week where we will be off on Thursday and Friday. I'll actually be off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday's the only actual work day I'll miss, but we'll be off Thursday for the 4th and company holiday on the 5th, and then we will return after that, and that's when we'll go a little more full steam with college football. Real quick, we'll get back out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Darren wants to weigh in on football expectations. Darren, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
Hey, how's it going, fellas? How y'all doing this morning?
What's up, man?
Hey, listen, I got a different take than everybody else. First of all, my expectations are much higher. And the reason I say that is, in the SEC, I compare Carolina equally to about Missouri from what you're able to recruit, even though I think Beamer, those are able to recruit a little better than Missouri each year. But if Missouri can go 11-2 with that schedule they had last year to finish beating Ohio State, I don't see why we expect to win 6 games. I mean, after so many years, if we ain't doing it on defense, well, we got to move some coordinators and get some new ones in. But coaching, it seems to be key. But this team can beat just about any team on any given day. And I think you just got to get them coached up good. And hey, if you ain't got the right coordinators, you got to get the right coordinators. But to expect just 6 games, I don't accept that. I expect at least 8 or 9.
I think that's the problem I have with Eli. Besides him being an absolute dork and somebody who says the wrong thing is the wrong time, you look at him and you see that program rapidly rising up the ranks, having dark horse considerations about making the CFP, and you like, why can't that be us? That could be. There's nothing about Missouri that, as you said, that we don't have here. And so it kind of makes you look in the mirror and figure out why things aren't happening. As you said, maybe there's a coordinator situation. Defensively, there might be that. But we know for 2 years of at least of the Shane Beamer era that the offensive coordinator situation was abysmal. So, yes, that has been changed. We'll see what the situation is of that. But, yes, that is the thing that makes me personally, Preston, so frustrated about Eli and Missouri is because there's nothing that they have that we shouldn't have. And you're right. We should logically be having similar expectations as Missouri, in my opinion.
Appreciate the phone call. Look, let's not get carried away with Missouri because they also had not had an above 500 season. Above 500 season. They'd had 4 straight either 500 or losing seasons. 6-6, 5-5, 6-7, 6-7, 11-2. They had South Carolina had a run of 3 great years. If you honestly go back, if you truthfully go back and you look at Missouri, if that's the comparison we're making, if you look at Missouri over the last 10 years, I'll go back to 2010. They have one more double-digit winning season than South Carolina.
Yeah, but the 2010 is a long time ago. I'm talking about what's happened with this coach the new coach that they have, and the new coach that we have.
Right now you could flip and say 11-2 was great, and if Shane Beamer could have won, or if South Carolina could have won that bowl game against Notre Dame, 9 wins, 9-11. I know the 11's more than 2, or 11's more than 9. But honestly, you'd say Shane Beamer's record is better than Eli Drinkowitz.
Okay.
Like Eli Drinkowitz is his time at Missouri, he's gone 5-5, 6-7, 6-7, and then They exploded last year, and then TBD this year. Let's see if they continue it, or let's see if the 11-2 was a flash in the pan.
Fair enough.
Let's see what happens.
Fair enough.
But let's not, it's programs are similar. I do agree with that. The question is more of sustained success. Can South Carolina sustain success? Can Missouri sustain success? And then that goes down the whole path that we'll get to later on if we want to go down that path in July. We'll go down this path of what is sustained success. Is it 5 straight years of just 8 wins? Does that work for everybody? We'll chalk that one up for some time in July, and we'll get to that. 803-404-6100. Appreciate all the phone calls this morning. You got a hot take on the NBA. And, well, on a college basketball coach who is a national championship college basketball coach, and now you're wondering if he's overrated?
This is my guy. Most handsome coach in retirement.
Go Coach Handsome.
Wears the best suit, always has a nice tan. Jay Wright is the man. But what I'm wondering, is he maybe properly rated? How about that? I've turned the simmer down on the hot take. Is he properly rated? Because the narrative that was always talked about with Jay Wright and Villanova was, these guys, he's doing a lot with so little. These guys, they're scrappy bunch, and Jay Wright's just coaching these guys up. And look at Jay. He doesn't have any of the other 5-star recruits that the other coaches have, and he gets it done. Well, come to find out, Jay actually did have all of those guys. He did have all of the NBA recruits. He did have 5 NBA dudes playing on his team at one time when he won the national championship. And now all of those same dudes are playing for the New York Knicks.
Most of them.
They call them the Nova Knicks. Jalen Brunson, Dante Vivincenzo, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges is
they
now
just traded him.
Just traded for Mikal Bridges.
Traded for him. Sorry.
And I would argue that not only did he have NBA talent on his team, but he also had old guys on his team because they were upperclassmen.
Yep.
And he also had the best type of NBA guys because these dudes accepted the role. He didn't have the prima donnas that Cal has to deal with. He had a bunch of company men who actually were talented. So I'm wondering, and then we all were wondering about why Jay abruptly retired. I could tell you why. He looked at the rest of his roster and didn't see any NBA dudes, and he was like, "Oh, the jig is up. I got to go back to coaching regular people? Nah, no thank you." So all I'm wondering is if Jay Wright is properly rated. Maybe he didn't do such a great job with those Villanova teams, and maybe he just coached a bunch of talented dudes. That's all I'm saying.
I am trying to pull. I have to go back. I don't think the hole that I'll put. Jalen Brunson, I remember covering. Mm-hmm. Jalen Brunson was a big-time recruit. Mm-hmm. I need to go back and do a little research. Okay, as a prospect, Mikal Bridges was the number 114th prospect in the country, which mm-hmm. in basketball terms is not as high as you would think. Like mm-hmm. You go, 114, that's pretty high. Well, again, the teams that you just mentioned, they all had guys who were a lot higher than him. Again, Jalen Brunson was high. Let me see here on Dante DiVincenzo, whatever, however you say his name. I'm going to look him back up. I don't think he was that. Okay, he was number 110. Mm-hmm. So 110, 114 for your boy Jay right there. That's just a quick sample of those guys. Josh Hart, let me see if I can get Josh Hart's real quick here. Again, I know that Jalen Brunson was up there, so I'm not even going to look at him. I'm pretty sure because I helped rate him. Josh Hart recruiting as a prospect, 3-star, 123 in the nation. Mm-hmm. So, again, I don't know. It's not like he was landing the one-and-doners. And now you're kind of telling me also that he developed them. Oh, he developed those guys.
Maybe he developed them into NBA
That's
guys.
Right.
Maybe he's
underrated.
Ooh, I like it. I'll tell you this: can't underrate the way that man wears a suit. Properly rated. Best suit wearer in the game.
There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go. 803-404-6100. How you can weigh in if you want to do so this morning. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, she's Jen Jensen. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for the Ecton Law Firm. If tax troubles are weighing you down, they're keeping you up at night, they're stressing you out, it's time to call John Ecton and his team. They have proven solutions and are ready to help you, and it all starts with a free consultation. All you need to do is give them a phone call, 803-771-9800. Again, that's 803-771-9800. Whether you're here in Columbia, whether you're in Florence, or if you're in Myrtle Beach, the Ecton Law Firm is ready to help you today. Don't let the stress of the IRS weigh you down and take away from the fun you should be having this summer. Call the Ecton Law Firm and let their professionals give you the peace of mind that you deserve. Again, make that phone call today, 803-771-9800, or visit them on the web. That's ectonlawfirm.com, ECTON lawfirm.com. Call them today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing. If you've got a leak, you need to let Mid-State Roofing take a peek, because for nearly 30 years, Mid-State Roofing has been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. It's their proven history that is your assurance that they will take care of you, that their results will help the needs of your facility, and they'll do it in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rises to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Mid-State Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. And they do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Right now, 748, and you know what? If you call them, you'll speak with an on-call technician or a Mid-State Roofing employee. So give them a phone call, 803-356-1919, and speak with Mid-State Roofing about a maintenance contract. That phone number again, 803-356-1919. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Wrapping up our number 2 here, and we'll get back into those EA Sports college football ratings in the next hour. Let you hear about the offense and the defense. We'll also talk more about the Bronny James situation. A lot of y'all weighing in on that. I think I feel like this is from the heat outside. I don't know if this is anger or annoyance, but like AJ weighs in and says the Lakers were once a great NBA franchise. Now look at them. Sad. Chris was talking college football. John weighed in and basically just said, with all due respect, Preston and Bill, the Lakers drafting Bronny was a rec league daddy ball move, and no one can say anything different. Yeah, we both agreed with that.
We just said that.
We said that. Yeah, we were all in agreement with that. And he says he would not do this for his child. He'd want his child to earn his way. I disagree with that. I think if you're in this position, and there are across sports, how many other players could pull this power move on a power franchise?
One.
Okay.
There's only one.
He did it.
It's a singularity. Yes, it is a rec league daddy ball move, and that is absolutely correct.
Yep.
As a 100% accurate depiction of it. But because LeBron has treated the NBA like rec ball because he's been so good for so long, he and the Lakers agree that he has the power to do this.
And I don't blame him one bit. I have zero problems with what he now.
I mean, I have a problem with it, but
look,
whatever.
The Lakers allowed it. The Lakers allowed it to have. The Lakers knew that doing this does not help their NBA championship chances. They're not a championship franchise. They just delayed rebuilding the whole thing for another 2 years. They're going to have to blow it up. You mentioned it. Anthony Davis is like 31.
He's 31.
I think.
So the idea that's happening, and who knows, maybe they can recharge, but the idea that the 55th pick was going to have any bearing on them making a run in the playoffs one way or another.
All it did was keep LeBron on their team.
Right.
And so there was an element of they knew what they were doing also, but they knew that somebody was going to get Bronny James, and they were going to lose LeBron. But then that would have started the rebuild, in my opinion, which they're going to have to. I'm not even a Lakers fan. I really could care. I could not care any more about the Lakers and kind of enjoy seeing them not win. But the bottom line is, hey, if you can do it, do it. LeBron did it, and cool for him, and we'll deal with it for 2 years and watch that situation play out. 803-404-6100. I'm going to tell you in the next segment probably about some South Carolina coaching news, not at the University of South Carolina, but former players that have gotten some jobs. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines though real quick. Barron wants to weigh in on the Lakers situation. Barron, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for putting me on. I'm excited. I can't wait to see the Lakers play me. I'm not much of a fan, but I tell you, when you put that James son guard with Dalton Connect and three other good players, who's going to beat them? This is going to be a great. It's going to fill the stadium. You know, if Mickey Mantle had to have a son, we'd all fall for to get that guy to play. You know, I mean, legends deserve a little bit of, you know, a little edge, give them an edge. But I think that's a great move to bring that son in. It's going to be a sellout crowd every night and excitement. And I can't wait to see Dalton Connect hit those 3-pointers time after time. And I think it's going to be great. It's great for basketball.
Good take.
Anyway, I'll let y'all.
Appreciate the take. I do think Dalton Connect they did get a steal in getting him at the 17th pick. I don't think they expected him to be at that point, but it kind of goes backwards because, as people have stated, Dalton Connect is the most NBA ready right now. He could go to a team and contribute to a winning team, whereas the Lakers were not a playoff team last year, and they seem pretty far off from that. The other part is, as far as Bronny and LeBron, the one thing I could think of what was really cool in my childhood coming up was Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr.
Yep.
The only problem was Ken Griffey Jr. had potential to be one of the best ever.
Right.
Bronny does not, very clearly. So there's a little bit of a difference as far as, or you could even go to Barry Bonds Sr. and Bobby Bonds and Barry Bonds. They were playing in a similar time. But those sons were going to go on to be some of the greatest ever.
Off the top of my head, I do not remember the age of Michael Jordan's oldest son, and if he could have, if it would have timed out where Jordan could have forced the Wizards into drafting him. Look, it is what it is. Nobody's going to watch Bronny. Number one, Bronny James is not going to play. He will play in certain situations, the Lakers still have to upgrade their roster. They've got to go into free agency and pick up a few players. They've got D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Anthony Davis, and LeBron. But they've got to add some other pieces to the puzzle. Bronny James is not one of those. And look, it's cool. It'll work. At some point early in the season, they'll be blown out or they'll blow somebody else out. Bronny will get in. LeBron will be in with him. Oh, it'll be a huge news story. If you don't like it, you're going to want to turn off all your TVs for like 24 hours because that's coming down the pipe. We'll get into that. 2 former Gamecock football players are now head coaches. Notice I didn't say head football coaches, both. Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. And you have heard us talk for a while, a little bit this morning, but the last few days, about the heat, the humidity here in Columbia. I tried to tell you about it early on. You knew it was coming, tried to tell you to get in touch with AAA Heating and Air. Well, guess what? The heat is here now, but you can still get comfort in your home tomorrow with a phone call today. And AAA Heating and Air is offering some incredible deals. How about this? Right now, just to start, you can get a free replacement estimate. That's right. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500, and they will get you a free replacement estimate so that you can know how much you are going to pay. And then once you do that, here's the even better part. You talk about how much you're going to pay. Well, guess what? No payments, no interest until 2025. You heard that correct. No payments and no interest with AAA Heating and Air. They are taking care of their customers during these hot dog days of summer. So call AAA Heating and Air. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. 803-677-1500.
Traffic-wise out there this morning, we are looking at an accident on I-20 eastbound there at exit 378, Highway 378. That would be exit 61. The right lane is currently blocked, so you want to stay left there. Also, Kilbourne at Rosewood Drive. Spears Creek Church Road near I-20. There is also a report of an accident. And as far as your forecast goes, yeah, we are looking for significant temperatures this weekend. 93 for the high today. Some afternoon and evening storms are possible. And same for Saturday and Sunday, but the heat index is getting up to over 105. So it's going to be a hot weekend. 74 right now.
Final hour of June for us. Final hour of work in June. We will hit the lake here as soon as this program ends, and we'll get out of here and enjoy the heat today. But one more hour for us today, and we'll get back into that Bronny James situation a little bit. Nepotism. Sometimes it goes wrong. Has anybody talked to Kirk Ferentz lately? when bringing your son on goes wrong. We'll give you some more examples of that. I don't know if I agree with this. A couple people weighing in and saying Jordan wouldn't have allowed the Wizards to draft his son, even if it was possible. He wants to win too much.
Oh, no. Look at what Marcus Jordan ended up doing with his career. I believe he got a job at Nike with Jumpman. He made sure his son was successful. It's not as if he said, "Hey, Marcus, go work on your own." He just didn't have the juice at the time to do it.
Yeah, Marcus was not near as good a basketball. I think he went. I think I'd have to go back and do some research just to make sure I'm being correct here. But I think Marcus went to UCF.
Yes,
and that didn't work out.
Well, Bill, statistically, he was better than Bronny. What does that mean?
Again,
nothing.
Here's what happens when nepotism goes wrong. Oh, we'll keep an eye on this. I'll also say this, because Steve weighs in and could have just signed him as a free agent. But the thing about this is LeBron wanted his son drafted. Like, they're in New York. They're toasting. You knew you could have. But LeBron wanted to give his son the opportunity to say he was drafted, because you can never take that back. Now, say what you want about it. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not defending it nor disagreeing with it, but there is something, I forget, like, you always talk about it, Preston, when you get into the later rounds of the NFL draft, 6'5", 6'7", or 6'7", and it's probably a better thing to not be drafted so that you can pick and choose where you're going. But it's also something really cool to say, I was drafted in the NFL or the Major League Baseball or in Major League Baseball or in the NBA. It's a really cool thing that you have, even if you don't make it, to say, yes, I was good enough to be drafted in the sport that I play.
Yeah, it is obviously super cool to hear that. The only thing I would wonder is if deep down you kind of feel like Daddy pulled the strings for me.
This is my personal opinion. I personally think, and this is just reading between the lines with interviews I've heard from Bronny and stuff, I personally think he's doing this for his dad. I'm sure he wants to play in the NBA. I also, I feel in listening to him and just reading a few things, he's going to do his 2 years. He's going to satisfy Dad's need to do whatever. And then he would much rather go be part of the production company and do whatever it is you can do. Like, the people that I've talked to have never taken it where he is just gung-ho about basketball. And I want to stop myself short of saying that, like, LeBron has dragged him through this. Dragged him, moved him all over, and put him. I think he was at Sierra Prep, I believe is where he was at, and done all this stuff for him. And there is, because I do think there's a love of the game, but I also don't know if it's like, yeah.
I mean, this, and if you was to extrapolate that, I mean, this happens all the time where, your parents wanted you to go into, there's a lot of you all out who might be lawyers because your dad's a lawyer and you didn't want to sit around closing mortgages all day, but that's what you ended up doing so maybe this is part of him just following along in the family business or doing something, but is that what he wants to? My thing is, do you really want to spend that much time around your dad?
That was the other thing I was about to get to. Like, you got 41 road trips.
Like, that's not a lot of fun, man. No matter how cool your dad is, like, God.
I mean,
he might first off, he might see some things he's never seen before from his dad. That's one. Two, Dad might see some things from Bronny that we never seen.
No, LeBron's gonna be in complete control.
He's gonna be doing room checks on him, man. Like, hey, bro, getting your rest. Like, man, how bad could it be to be the first time you get your own money, and Dad's like, spending a lot of money on dinner there, Bronny. You want to save some of that? This is what. Get out of here, man.
That is another element of it.
Bronny's dad's gonna be watching us. We can't go out tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. It's a tough situation I do agree with him. A tough situation. Just
they're gonna get connecting rooms.
Like if you've ever worked with your father, which I have done, and you have to go on a business trip together. and your father is the owner of the business and you're working under him.
Steak again tonight?
You don't get the company credit card. That's another element to this. Like,
yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, number one, I don't.
I mean, mom's got to come now too, right? Because she's like, oh, I get to see both my guys right here in the same spot. I'm coming on the road trip. Brian's like, I wanted to get away. I went to college right up the street at USC. I was home all the time. Can I just get away just for a little while, please?
The other part about it, and I've actually had conversations with people about this. You go into the NBA, again, Bronny's 19. They aren't going to teen clubs, Bo. They aren't. And they aren't going to the teen clubs. They aren't. They said Myrtle Beach and let's go hit the Attic or Mother Fletcher's. You're in the NBA. You got money. We're hitting a hot spot on our night off.
What a bygone era, the teen club. I don't think those exist anymore, but man, probably was highly unsafe. But anyway, yeah, man. Well, Bronny can't get in. LeBron's too old for anybody to want him because LeBron wants to hang around and tag along. And like, dude, we are not trying to hang out with you. We want to hang with the kids.
Yeah.
Hey, Bron, you want to go catch a matinee? He's like, no, Dad, I don't want to hang.
Well, or, again, LeBron's like, come on, let's go to the gym. Let's work on your jump shot. Let's get in the gym. Come on, son. Let's go. Yeah,
you going to buy that car that's, is that fiscally responsible, son?
Yeah.
Dad, get out of here.
Exactly. There's some stuff. Yeah. Do they still live in the same house? Does Bronny get to buy his own house? There's a lot to this that's father-son relationships. If you've ever had that dynamic.
If they had a good one, it's going to get tested.
Yeah, because I mean, just think about the concept. Like LeBron's like, come on, we got to get up. We got to get to practice. Let's go. Come on, I'll drive. Just get in the car with me. Just come on, I'll take you. Let's go. Come on, son. I mean, this is the same. Bronny's like, wait, this is not middle school anymore. You don't have to take me to school. You don't have to take me to. I can drive myself, Dad. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it all goes. 803-404.
What if somebody fouls Bronny too hard in practice?
Yeah, LeBron's like, Bronny's like, I can hold my own. I got this. It's tough, rich tough, but anyway, nonetheless.
Tough spot for Bronny, for sure. Tough spot for Bronny, man.
We'll get into it.
I seriously, sincerely hope it works out for him. And I hope he finds a path that he can be happy with, whether it's basketball or whatever, because this is a very difficult spot for a young person to be in, for sure.
And it's also another tough spot. If you mess up in a practice, you got J.J. Redick yelling at you, and now you have your dad yelling at you.
Yeah, what if J.J. says something out of pocket to Bronny? And LeBron's like, hey, hold on now. I will get you fired, sir. I got you hired. You don't talk to me or my son.
That, or if the playing time, we've all had those. We've seen those parents. LeBron sends a text message to J.J. Redick. I'd like to meet in the office to discuss playing time. Not for me.
Well, because J.J. answers to LeBron.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, boy. I agree. A texter says HBO needs to get on this. Hard Knocks with the James.
Yes, I agree.
That's actually one. I want the true behind the scenes. 803-404-6100. I mentioned former South Carolina football players. One got a head football coaching job in Florida. This is a more recent player. Wide receiver. Ace Sanders.
Okay.
Ace Sanders named yesterday the new head football coach at Bayshore High School. That is kind of in the Bradenton, from what I'm reading here on Bradenton.com. It's in the Bradenton area there down in Tampa. He was announced as the next Bruins. So the Bayshore Bruins. By the way, last night reading this, I kept wanting to say Bayside.
Bayside Tigers, let's go.
Yeah.
AC Slater, them boys.
But Bayshore High School. So Ace Sanders now a head football coach. Good for him.
Yeah.
In interviewing him, I'm not sure I ever saw that.
Correct.
Not sure I ever saw head football coach. Another former South Carolina player and a teammate of one, Preston Thorne, is now a baseball coach. When I say the name, you're going to go, yeah, okay.
Oh, it might have just hit. Let's see.
This guy went and had a nice NFL career.
Yeah, yes.
A very nice Sheldon Brown.
That makes sense.
Sheldon Brown named the new head baseball coach at South Point.
Congratulations to Sheldon. Congratulations, Sheldon. Yeah, he's been going pretty strong on baseball, and I know he had his sons throughout the travel baseball circuit, and he's been pretty strong on that. I didn't realize that he was going to be pursuing that passion. So, okay, I didn't see that, but yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, South Point. He is named the new head baseball coach for South Point High School's baseball program. This was announced either last night or this morning. So pretty cool for him and for Ace Sanders and for the Gamecocks to have two former guys, whether it's baseball or football, or you mentioned Brian Scott is coaching basketball.
Yeah, I think I should know this because that's my guy. It's at one of those schools in his area. So Brian Scott obviously went to Darlington. He's not at Darlington. I believe he's basketball coach at Lamar. I could be wrong about that, though. Probably shouldn't say it over here if I'm not correct, but I know Brian Scott is a head varsity coach somewhere in that area.
There you go. So, yeah, that. We mentioned Savell Newton now in this state also is a...
Yeah, and I specifically for Brian and Sheldon, those were guys who, truth be told, football was their second sports. The sports that they're coaching are their actual... They just happen to be better at football than those other sports. But Brian is a basketball guy, and Sheldon is definitely a baseball guy.
Yeah, neat for him. And again, South Point has a bunch of athletes. I don't know. I can't speak to their baseball program, what they have.
I'm not sure about that.
But obviously, I've known their basketball program at times. Has had some really good players, and of course, we know all about their football program.
We know who was not one of their good basketball players.
That was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. I went to watch. I want to say it was South Point and Lancaster play each other, and you had a lot of really good athletes, a lot of guys who did really good things for the University of South Carolina. One of those guys could not play basketball, and it was the most amazing thing I had ever seen in my life, to be one of the best football players to ever come out of this state, to be a number one pick, to have a pretty good NFL career so far, and look completely uncoordinated on a basketball court.
I'll take Bronny James in the draft over Jadeveon Clowney.
Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh. We'll get back into a little bit of the EA Sports College Football Rankings. We'll let Preston break those back down as we roll along on a Friday morning. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It is the early game.
Markets are heating up. Don't call Wall Street. The rates are better on Bay Street.
I-20 eastbound at Highway 378, still reporting an accident there. Also Kilbourne Road at Rosewood. And Trotter Rabbit Run, still a slowdown in that area. And also, just be aware that if you're in the vicinity of the Flight Deck Shopping Plaza there in Lexington on Old Chapin Road and West Main Street, there is an incident there. Again, that's at the shops at Flight Deck in Lexington. There is a structure fire. So if you're passing through that area, you are going to encounter probably a slowdown. And again, as I mentioned, Trotter Road at Rabbit Run, I-20 eastbound at exit 61. Thunderstorms 93 for the high today. Going to be beastly hot this weekend. Right now, 76 on the early game.
$8.19 as we get you up and get you going here. A little message board mayhem. This one was easy. This one's easy. All we got to do is just head on over to Gig'em 247.
Ag 247.
Yeah. Just the Texas A&M site to just see just any of them. For example, this 530 post thread out there as it pertains to Jim Schlossnagle. Just bleep him. This is Frankie Stout.
Strong.
Bleep him. Hope he dies soon.
Ooh, no, let's not do that.
Aggie Stunner 05 goes, well, coach is a liar.
Possibly.
Another one, bleep Schloss. Everybody says all coaches lie. It's time we start taking that seriously and act accordingly. School administrators need to treat these coaches with the same level of integrity that they display and play hardball.
Fair enough.
The other one, turns out he was full of bleep. This threat, I'm only like 7 ones in. You can tell how many times I'm having to bleep. Schloss is a snake in the grass. He deserves everything bad that happens in his tenure in Sipville. Liars lie. There's no getting around it. Not much we can do about it. Auburn. This is actually a funny one. Auburn would kill the bleeper before he even got to Tuscaloosa. There's some message board mayhem for you. As you can see, Texas A&M not handling this. It was dirty. It was dirty. Now, it does appear that there were some things behind the scenes that we discovered. It sounded like Texas A&M was trying to make it right, trying to help him get some renovations to the ballpark and get some personnel, but it sounds like he'd already made that decision. And, of course, his friendship with Chris Delaconte helped, obviously, tremendously.
Yeah, apparently he just looked around and didn't see anybody who had brought him there. And there's new people around, and it didn't work out for him. I don't think, let me only speak for myself. My issue is not with him leaving. It's the way in which he left. Right. And so, yeah, that's the issue with that. The way he left, and again, kind of trying to sneak out the back door, not necessarily letting the players, not having, from what we've reports, not having a conversation with the players to let them know and facing the music on that. That's my issue with it. Not necessarily that he left, though I don't think that's great, but that's expectable and understandable in the business.
The early names, at least, the people who have now turned off their phones and are not trying to do any interviews so that they don't mess up, this according to the game.
Yeah, that's probably what you need to do, because it's like the siren in the sea. You don't, because when they throw that crazy number at you, then you have to listen. So if you're happy where you are, just turn your phone off, tell your agent, don't take any calls.
They are mentioning some of the same names that we kind of heard around here. Wake Forest, Tom Walter, who got mentioned around here. East Carolina's Cliff Godwin being mentioned there. There also are some other names that apparently at least they're trying to have conversations with. No update yet on if they've done it, but this is Texas A&M. Florida State's Link Jarrett. Kentucky's Nick is it Mingione? Mangione? I'm not sure how you say his last name. Mingione. Alabama's Rob Vaughn. Florida's Kevin O'Sullivan being mentioned. But also one other name, Virginia's Brian O'Connor.
Yeah, these are some of the names that we heard in our coaching search. I would imagine that that Cliff Godwin is going to his agent, telling him that, hey, go talk to some people because if they want me, my name's been hot twice now. 3 times might be the charm there. So go make us some money. One
other name that at least, which is kind of interesting, kind of funny, and I know nothing about him. I do know Dallas Baptist has gotten better at baseball. Occasionally you'll see him I've seen him in the top 25. Dan Hefner at Dallas, but much like some of the South Carolina fans railed against coaches they didn't like, the Texas A&M fans are not real thrilled with the Dallas Baptist head coach. They think, and maybe rightfully so, they should be able to spend the money and go steal a Power 5 coach. And as I just mentioned, they feel they can go steal one from Florida State, from Kentucky, from Alabama, from Florida. You know, obviously Cliff Godwin has been a very popular name.
Here's what you do. Go down to your local Hardee's, see if there's a Hall of Fame coach that's retired, just hanging out, see if he wants to get in the game. He has to have a couple of national championships, a lot of success in the SEC, and see if he wants to coach. Oh, we already did that? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they were getting some hash browns and discussing, and all of a sudden the conversation turned, so how's golf? And then it took a left turn. So we'll see. But it a lot of people thinking that it's going to be probably Hefner from Dallas Baptist, and we'll see if that comes to fruition. And then we will all patiently wait for the SEC. Never before. You want a television program at SEC Network? You actually televised the release of the baseball conference schedule this year. And we all intently tune in to see if you have a sense of humor and you're sending Texas to Texas A&M this year.
They have to do that. That has to be done. He has to go back. Don't protect Jim. Make Jim go back.
Yeah.
He has to walk the line in that baseball uniform wearing that rusty orange and do it.
I wonder if this is one where Greg Sankey actually steps in and is like, look, I know I don't make the schedules around here, but I'm not real thrilled with what he just did.
He pulls one of those, I'm not telling y'all what to do, but
we're going to need that.
He gives them it'd be a good idea to do this.
Do you put that on opening weekend, or you either put it opening weekend or final regular season series? You don't put it in the middle. It doesn't get lost. You either lead off SEC play with that, or you go.
I mean, it's gonna have juice regardless. So I mean, I don't think you can lose wherever you put it.
803-404-6100. That was some message board mayhem, sponsored by the Miles Agency. Rolling along this morning. Again, a few other things just kind of out there in sports. We mentioned the NBA draft taking place. The other one kind of crazy, Preston, is this. I'm just mentioning it here, and we'll get into the EA Sports stuff coming up in the next segment here. But, the NFL ordered to pay more than $4.7 billion in damages Thursday after the U.S. District Court ruled that the league violated antitrust laws in distributing out-of-market Sunday afternoon games on a premium subscription service. I just find this interesting because of the amount of money, but also because we've talked about streaming and all these different things. And I'll be honest, I'm not a lawyer to understand this, but streaming or distributing out-of-market Sunday games on a premium subscription service.
Yeah, they're talking about the NFL ticket, in which there was a lot of hoops to jump through, and they had exclusivity rights such as patron locations, whether it was bars, restaurants, and things like that. They had to definitely pay into that, and some of the games weren't available in different places, and they're saying they violated antitrust by having those specific exclusions on those games. What was the number? $4 billion?
$4.7 billion. It does say should the NFL end up paying damages, it could cost each of the 32 teams approximately $449.6 million.
Be all right.
Yeah, they'll find a way to survive. They'll just throw up just a few more schedule releases, stretch some things out, draw you back into the television networks. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, as I say, well, and you figure that they benefited from all of these packages, so gotta.
Yeah, they're not checking the bank account today, going, "Can we make this work?"
Yeah,
No.
They've got a plan. They got a plan. 803-404-6100. We'll get back into that EA Sports college football. We'll take some guesses at South Carolina as well, maybe. Few guesses. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for Dr. Dan Balknight and the Men's Clinic over off of St. Andrews Road. As we get older, things start to occur. We start to maybe have some issues, whether it's at work, whether it's at play. Maybe it's something as simple as brain fog. Whatever it may be, you need to speak about it. And at the Men's Clinic, you have a nice confidential place. And they understand, Dr. Dan Balknight understands, there's no one-size-fits-all approach. From your very first visit, you will be seen as an individual and given a customized treatment regimen developed around your specific symptoms and laboratory results. So call today and line up an appointment. Get a free testosterone test. If you've been experiencing brain fog, fatigue, you're not recovering quite as well after some workouts, maybe you're losing a little hair or something's going on and you don't feel that should be happening right now, call Dr. Dan Balknight and schedule an appointment today. 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS, or visit them on the web, themensclinicsc.com.
And traffic conditions out there this morning, still working I-20 eastbound at Highway 378. Right there at Old Chapin Road at Main Street or Columbia Avenue, there's a fire at the shops at Flight Deck. So just avoid that area if you can. Lots of emergency vehicles on the scene in Lexington. Again, that's Old Chapin at Columbia Avenue, Main Street. Also an accident, Trotter Road at Rabbit Run. And as I mentioned, Kilbourne at Rosewood. And as far as your forecast, 93 for the high today, some afternoon or evening storms. Tomorrow, 95 with a heat index over 105. Could see a heat index up to 112 on Sunday. Chances for afternoon and evening thunderstorms each of those days. Right now, 76.
8:35 as we slowly start to wrap things up here for the final Friday of June. We've had our countdowns going on, and I tell you what, we'll get back into the EA Sports. But give us the countdowns, and also De La Soul, 3 Feet and Rising was the album for today. 1989, 35 years ago.
Yeah, that's a minute ago. 64 days until Old Dominion, 65 days until the Southern 500, and yes, 18 days until college football is released on July 16th. And the album of the day was De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising. And to summarize it, one of the brightest bursts of creativity in music, hip-hop especially, and just an all-around fantastic group with a lot of fun, a lot of flavor, a lot of fun things happening. The video's really cool.
It was worth playing again. So sorry.
Yeah. And so yeah, De La Soul's one of the greatest groups. If you were to argue that your favorite group / i.e. the best group in hip-hop history was De La Soul, you would have an argument. That'd be a good barbershop argument for sure. So shout out to De La Soul, always bringing the creativity. And much like Steely Dan, you could just weave your way down so many rabbit holes and trying to figure out almost like abstract art, their lyrics, because sometimes they make sense, sometimes you don't know that they make sense, and there's a lot of that type of stuff going on.
And obviously there's some musicality to what they're doing, and they're in tune with a lot of different genres of music because of the fact that they were sampling a lot of different types of songs in some of their music.
Yeah, sampled so many different types of music, and that was really one of the most interesting things. You know, they had Steely Dan, weird French albums. They sampled Schoolhouse Rock, just all kinds of weird things.
Yeah, I saw the number 3.
Yeah,
they had that.
3 is the magic number.
Yeah,
that was one of their songs. So just a lot of really interesting. Maybe a good word is quirky. Just a really quirky group, quirky band. One of the greatest hip hop bands forever.
So really,
for sure.
we could be like De La Soul,
Maybe.
quirky.
Quirky. There we go.
Quirky.
Like it.
Just saying.
I had gone down a path of my own.
It's all good.
I was kind of not listening.
It
I had wandered a little.
It happens.
A little astray to another song because the way he starts that reminds me of the Humpty Dance.
Similar. The very same time. Similar time. I believe Humpty was probably like
89.
Yep.
89. I'm looking at it on Wikipedia right now. It was actually released. It was recorded in 89. It was actually released. The Humpty Dance was actually released.
There's probably somebody who's probably written a deep dive comparison between De La Soul and Digital Underground, who's on the West Coast, who was also very weird and quirky.
Yeah.
But two groups, I would say, and that's I didn't think about this, but two groups that were some of the early groups bringing fun and humor into hip hop music.
Yeah, as I heard that come on again, it all of a sudden rattled around in the brain there
for sure.
About that. So there you go. So what will we be, just so we can be looking forward to Monday?
Oh, let's look at the days. I think it might be some sad boy music.
Oh no,
I think I saw the
sad boy music.
Sad boy music. The Smiths. So yeah, if you want to grow your hair out, get real emo, maybe some black mascara, I think the Smiths are on deck for Monday. I have to check, but I think it is the Smiths. So Morrissey, a lot of sad music, a lot of weeping guitars. If you want to just go sit in the corner and cry.
Okay.
Oh boy.
It's not really the way to spend your weekend.
Yeah.
You need to be more in an upbeat, good frame of
so
mind.
we might have to do some rearrangements on that. But if
I was thinking, like, so is there a difference where if Sunday's countdown is better, maybe swap them?
Yeah, we might do that. We might do something a little bit because and no disrespect to any the Smiths fans out there, but you know your music's sad. You know what it is.
Yeah, and it's morning radio, so we don't want to be too.
Right.
You know it's sad music.
I'm trying to read this. I have to read this text off from a texter and see how it fits with what we're going. Got to be careful. Sometimes we go down a path.
You don't want to get in an Anchorman situation.
The late great Tommy Moody. Tommy, the few times he'd just get into a text and sometimes there was no proofreading. And thankfully, I don't think he ever did anything. But there was a few times I sat in with Tommy Moody, and he just glanced at the text and just start reading. And I was like, Tommy, you might want to pre-read those things before you go on air because, you can have a Ron Burgundy type situation. 803-404-6100. Said we were going to talk about earlier we talked about EA Sports, college football 25 set to be released July 16th. Yesterday, Bud Elliott talked about some glaring issues with EA Sports offensive ratings, glaring issues. Let's replay those again, Jen, and we'll discuss those here.
Here are the biggest problems with how EA Sports rated the offenses in its college ball video game. First, NC State. 16th? What? Look, NC State last year was almost in the hundreds in offense. I like Grayson McCall. I like the tight end they got from UConn, but still, 16th? It'd be a miracle just to get in the top 40. Number 2, Colorado. Colorado put up a lot of yards, but the offense actually sucked. Shedeur Sanders is a good quarterback. I like Travis Hunter. The offensive line still can't block a soul. They have nothing at tight end. The running backs are mid. I don't see it. Utah at 11, betting a lot on Cam Rising. Miami at 7, it's a lot of belief in Cam Ward. And a couple pretty egregious snubs. Where's Oklahoma State? Everybody returns. It's a Mike Gundy coached offense. Where's Tennessee? We don't think Nico can play. You look fine against Iowa. How is Ole Miss and Penn State and Miami basically rated the same on offense? Ole Miss scores points. Those other teams, it's very TBD. USC almost fell out of the top 25. Same with FSU. I don't know, man. I think we got issues here. Let me know what you think.
What do you think?
Like I said earlier in the 6 o'clock, the first thing that called me up, I was like, oh yeah, Grayson McCall. No, NC State. That was odd. The thing that I was looking for was who did South Carolina play in this? What obviously I'm interested in our best self-interest. Looking at it, and we knew the schedule was tough, but based on the college football projections, we played a lot of those teams that are in the top 12, top 25. Bama at number 3, LSU at number 6, Missouri at number 9, Clemson at number 10, which I don't know about that one. Ole Miss at 13, probably should be higher.
I think so.
Texas A&M at 18.
I need to see it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. And then number 23, Oklahoma. So seven out of the 25 are teams that we play this year as far as offensive football is concerned.
I didn't think you would move Arkansas maybe up there. You get Bobby Petrino out there. I forgot about that, by the way, until just now as I was – because I'm just real quick. I am looking to see Colin Klein, the former Kansas State quarterback, is the offensive coordinator for Texas A&M. I remember him playing quarterback there for Kansas State, and I really don't feel like it was that long ago, by the way. I feel like he's going to be pretty young as I try to pull up his bio real quick and see where he's at, or see how old he is. Wow, now I feel older. He graduated from Kansas State in 2011. So, but he arrived after serving in the same role as offense coordinator for Kansas State for the last 2 seasons.
More like this is a whole college football discussion.
That's an actual football discussion. In this scenario, you're talking about you as the offensive coordinator. That's a little bit different.
Yes. That's why I didn't want to go down that path. This is talking about you playing the role of South Carolina's defensive coordinator. How do you stop these obviously high-powered offenses, of which 7 of them are in the top 25?
All right, let me offer you this here before we hit the break. So, who gets the highest quarterback rating on the game? Now, I'm looking at ESPN's top 10 college football quarterbacks in 2024. And I'll admit, number 1 is a shocker.
I'm not really sure I'm all that familiar with the whole total field, but I would imagine Quinn Ewers is somewhere pretty high up there. Correct?
He's 3.
Okay.
When was this posted? This is on ESPN. This was March 1st, 2024. This is March 1st, 2024.
Who else you got?
Number 2 is a guy that we've already talked about in this program when we talked about quarterback recruiting. And we talked about landing a 5-star. If you land an elite quarterback, you have 1 year to kind of allow them to sit and develop. But by year 2, they're going to want to play.
That Brock?
No, that was we talked about Dylan Gabriel.
Yes.
Number 2 is Dylan Gabriel, who basically Oklahoma said, there's the door. We thank you for your 30 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. We thank you for throwing for 3,600 yards and completing 70% of your passes. But we got Jackson Arnold here, and we've already told him he can be the starter. Sorry about that. So Dylan Gabriel is now at Oregon. He's number 2. So that would leave people like Shedeur Sanders, like Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart.
All familiar names. Okay, now it's coming. It's coming to me now.
But there's one name I did not mention who is number 1, and I don't know. I guess I look at him more as a game manager. Didn't play in the playoffs last year, but Carson Beck is listed by ESPN as the top quarterback in the country.
Carson Beck's pretty good.
We'll finish it up. We'll wrap everything up here in a nice, neat bow and get out of the month of June when we come back. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where for nearly 30 years they have been the industry leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. And you know what? They're going to continue to do it. So while you might not think about your roof on a daily basis, Mid-State Roofing and owner-founder Larry Leitner does. And that's why 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they're there to help you. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. And you can give them a phone call. You will speak with an on-call technician or with a Mid-State Roofing employee. That phone number, 803-356-1919. For more information, you can also go online, midstateroofing.com. But again, give them a phone call. If you've got an issue or you're a little worried about what's taking place with your roof, it's time to call Larry Leitner and the family at Mid-State Roofing and get them out to the house. So go ahead, 803-356-1919, or again, visit them online, midstateroofing.com. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. Wrapping it up. Wrapping up the month of June. And this weekend, at least here in Lexington and Columbia, Chapin, Lake Murray area, basically, we will have the Lake Murray fireworks. So I'm guessing that means people getting out and enjoying the lake, and also, Preston, enjoying some cookouts. So I don't know. I don't know if people are doing to tomorrow, making it a whole weekend. I don't know if people are doing the 4th of July exactly, or if they'll celebrate next weekend. So, but plan accordingly. And we'll just start with this, with 5 minutes left in the program. We'll give you like the appetizer. What is the side dish of choice when you go to a 4th of July cookout?
For me, it's going to be probably some type of fruit.
Side dish,
something cold. It's got to have cold dishes. Maybe if you want to get carried away, maybe some baked beans if you want to do something hot, some sort of beans type of deal. But I prefer to have cold sides for 4th of July.
Well, we will next week. Of course, again, it might be this week, but next week we will deep dive into hamburgers, hot dogs.
Yeah. I believe this is the 4th of July conversation was when I first made my first splash. This what got me to the early game.
Oh.
You know, you saw me, I was toiling in the midday, and then I made the splash announcement that 4th of July food possibly better than Thanksgiving food. And that's when Bill took notice, and he said, we got to call that kid up. He
it was a hot take that I wasn't ready for.
He has some things.
He's
that
got some
might be
chops.
Yeah, this might be my guy. That's what happened.
Yeah, next week will be the big food shows all next week here, as we will get into it. Yeah, what do you put on what has to go on a hamburger? What goes on a hot dog? I don't want to hear about anybody's crazy hot dog concoctions either. Some of you, the cheese on a hot dog thing should be banned.
Cheese on a hot dog?
Yeah,
Why?
that sounds awful. It just looks awful. It sounds awful.
I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I understand it. You know, there's one place, and I need to bring back some sauce from this place. It's called Yannicki's, and it's just well known up where we're from, just a small town. So they have like 2 locations, but it's these chili dogs with kind of a sweet chili, and it's like very finely ground up ground beef. And sometimes you can get cheese on it, some people get a sauce bun. Like they don't even get the hot dog. They just get the sauce in the bun. Like, you know, it's tasty.
Sounds like, what's the Dreamland? I'll never forget going to Dreamland over in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
The barbecue place. And they just brought a cup of, like your appetizer is just white bread and a cup of sauce. Their barbecue sauce.
Not mad at it.
It was Alabama white sauce, or is it a different barbecue?
You know what?
It's not a white sauce. It was a barbecue sauce.
You know what? If the Italians can dip their bread in olive oil, then we can dip our bread in sauce.
You know what? That's a really
See what I'm
good
saying?
point.
Let's not. Don't put us down.
I agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was a neat thing.
And isn't that? And I always love the challenge of they'll put the olive oil and they'll put the balsamic vinegar, and they really don't mix very well. So then it's the fun. Oh, I'll get it to mix, and
if they can do
it's
that,
entertainment.
If they can do that, we can do this.
I agree with you. Very American. So there you go.
Very, very, very American.
Very Southern, also, by the way. I'm going to say American, but very, very Southern as well. But next week we'll get into all of that. Final thoughts from today. We've talked a lot about LeBron James and Bronny James. I like this. Stackhouse weighs in here this morning. Bronny will make less money as a Laker than he did as LeBron's son.
LeBron's definitely getting them off. Son, it's time you learn what real life is like.
Yeah, is LeBron like when they go to some food place, does he turn around and he's like, he's got mine. Like the rook has mine. Get in there, Rook.
That's a great observation. That's a great one.
We've talked a little bit. We'll see where it goes. Jerry says they're going to carpool together. Yeah,
that could be bad.
Listen. LeBron has the production company. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's see what's happening.
He does.
Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go all the way with it. Might as well.
Yeah, meet the LeBrons.
Let's do it.
Meet the Bronnies.
Let's do it.
We'll see what happens. Look, I got no problem. Again, final thoughts on that. I got no problem with LeBron using his power and his weight to have an organization draft his son. It's on the organization got set back last night, and I'm not a Lakers fan, but it got set back.
My total final take is I think it's a beautiful human interest story. It's ridiculous as a basketball conversation.
The number one, the odds of them finding a guy who is going to help and contribute at pick 55,
correct,
were slim. I mean, it's not completely against the odds. We saw Gigi Jackson. I think Gigi was late last year. It's not completely against the odds, but it's not good. And so I have no problem. Where I say it set the organization back is I don't care who they have. He was what?
45.
45. Okay, his number actually. I think he was wearing 45. I didn't know
maybe that's
that.
why he wore that.
But anyway, my thing is Anthony Davis is aging out. LeBron is obviously aging out. D'Angelo Russell they need to start a rebuild there anyway. They need to blow it up and start over it now. You've committed at least 1 year, if not two, to LeBron.
Yeah, correct.
All right, we'll wrap it up. That's it for the month of June for us. We will be back on Monday and Tuesday. I'm out Wednesday. We're all out Thursday and Friday. Jen's off to Chicago. We got the racing next weekend. We're there in Nashville this weekend. You guys have a good weekend.
Same to you.
Y'all take care.